Okay, guys, welcome to a little couch time with me and Dan. We're actually putting together quite the update chat here. This isn't, one of our regular videos because it's just going to be kind of like a podcast, if anything. We're just going to be sitting here chatting very openly about kind of what's been going on. I know there's a lot of just, speculation, uncertainty all across the board. So we figured we'd address everything that we've seen, and we got everything written down here so we stay on topic as much as possible. But we don't want to keep ourselves from just talking because, I think that's an important part about this. Is
I think we might get a little tangential throughout this, but
yeah, well, that's just going to be the nature of it.
Yeah.
Because
so we wanted to let everybody know what's going on because a lot of things going on.
Yep, a lot of things. So first things first, we just wanted to start out with the house and how this came to be. We started out in the office, and as many of you know, the split happened, which was a big change in everyone's life and businesses and stuff like that. And Couch Hop has, gone on and done their thing, and they're out in LA. They're doing great. It's awesome. We're really happy for those guys. We stayed in the old office, and initially it was kind of like a thing where we were making a lot of content, and it wasn't necessarily what we wanted to do. It was kind of a necessity out of, we needed to pay a pretty big rent and a lot of bills that were still left over.
It was a lot of square footage to pay for that we weren't necessarily utilizing fully, but how could we when it was only 5 or 6 people?
Yeah. So we were gonna finish off the lease there and stuff, and
had to write out, what was that, like?
It was
a little over half a year that we had.
It was about 6 months or so.
Yeah,
a little bit more than that.
So we were pumping hardcore at getting stuff done.
We were just kind of firing on all cylinders. So there was definitely a sacrifice in a lot of the quality of the content just so that we could keep getting stuff out so that we could pay that stuff off, which we were fine with. Like, we were able to get it all done, and I didn't want to try and break any leases or anything, but so we were able to do that. And then of course we found the new house. It was kind of a cool new step in our new journey and adventure, and we were really excited about it. Started off making a lot of cool new content that
Well, and it was nice because, like, I was getting really burnt out towards the end of the office, just like the grind that we were doing. It was 2 videos a day, and it was just like, I don't fucking know what to do. And I was super tired, and it wasn't necessarily the thing that we had started off doing, and so it was kind of a tough thing for me to do. So when it came to the house, we kind of looked at doing lighter content, or not necessarily lighter content, but less in-day, like, person stuff, because we were 5 days a week at the office every single week, and so we kind of broke down to a smaller schedule. We were doing 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, for recording content and having everybody go through and edit throughout the week and all that jazz. So it was kind of like a lessened slate, so we were hoping it'd be a little bit easier to manage and a little bit more fun.
And we did everything we could to kind of cut down on expenses a little bit, because everything that happened we did lose a lot of viewers and stuff, and with that was lost revenue. So we kind of had to trim everything down a little bit to make a little bit more sense. And we found our groove and everything, and we're making content and all that, and it was working out. Like stuff was going good, and we really liked what we were doing. And then a big part of it as well was moving over some of the focus so that me and Dan could work on our personal channels and streams.
Had a little bit more time.
Now.
Yeah, since it was a little bit more tight, and we were just killing ourselves on the hub, it was becoming apparent that it was a necessity that we would have to get our kind of side channels going again, and our personal channels, because that was always kind of like the main source of revenue when we first started this, because it wasn't really like...
Yeah, because the hub was never like crazy off the bat.
Yeah.
So it was, we always had to, no one really got paid at all.
It's more so just the housing and food and such.
Yeah, that all got paid for initially and stuff. But that's way back when. That's a good ways away. But yeah, the personal channel stuff, we also, both of us really enjoy working on our personal channel stuff. It's an absolute blast.
I've actually kind of lessened on my channel and more so.
Twitch.
I started streaming in February before the Adpocalypse, so I guess I had foresight. No, I don't know.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, but like, I really enjoy streaming. It's a different kind of thing than doing videos, and the community aspect has been really fun. So
yeah, so that's kind of just a catch up on kind of what's happened over the first half of the year, or first little bit of the year there. A big thing that's been coming up a lot, and we didn't really address this too much. We've mentioned it a few different times if people have asked, and we do apologize once again. I think a big part of this update is just going out and saying like we're awful with communication, and we always have been.
See, the thing is, like, I think personally, for the most part, we're all right. You know, I like, you know, whenever people ask me questions, it's like I try to be as honest as possible. And, you know, there's a lot more involved with the hub. So it's kind of like I can't just by myself go off and say all the shit that, you know, is there. It's
like a representation thing.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, I don't want to speak for other people. And so like throughout our history of doing the creatures, no matter what the group makeup was throughout the entire time, we've almost always consistently been terrible about communicating with you guys about what's going on, and or if members are leaving or whatever. Like, it's just always been really awkward. And a lot of the time we don't know what to do, because it's like these have been very unique, weird situations sometimes where it's like people just stop showing up or whatever. Like, and we just don't know how to deal with it. And so we're trying to be better about it. We've always been trying to be better about it. It's just, we understand that it's not been good and it's burned a lot of people, and you know, we apologize for that. It's not intentional.
Yeah, it's always been, I always tell everyone, it's been a massive learning experience. You know, we were all very young when we started everything out, and it's just, you know, constant learning, and we don't know what to do. Not only was it just such an untouched and uncultivated industry, but at the same time we were all very young in general, so we didn't have a ton of life experience to add on to that. So, and
in the large scheme of things, we're still pretty young. So
totally. That. Yeah, I mean, not you. You're old. Like you're almost 30.
I'm 1 year older than you.
But yeah, so as far as Joe goes, when we signed with RT, they took over. You know, we had our own merch operation going initially, which is kind of one of the biggest reasons we had Joe come out.
Yeah, I was super excited to have him out. He was
Joe's friend from back home,
high school and such. We were big friends.
So when RT took over all the merch stuff, it was kind of oversight on our part, because then, you know, Joe didn't really have a whole lot to do after that, and we'd hate to, you know, like we wanted to keep him around, and, you know, but it was kind of hard to find stuff for him to do,
and stuff that he was interested in doing. Like, videos isn't necessarily his.
Yeah, he didn't come out to be on YouTube and stuff, and it definitely wasn't his passion. So he has found his passion out here, as, you know, he's got another job.
Joe is a man with many candles.
Yes, he does. He does enjoy a lot of different things, but right now he has, you know, decided to start, you know, spending time and working on the farm a lot more. If you know about Joe, he's been hanging out at a farm with a bunch of friends, and they've been, you know, really exploring that, because they're all kind of beginners at it, but they've been learning a whole lot about it and really all enjoy that kind of project. So that's kind of the project that he's moved on to. But, you know, we still chat with him from time to time, and, you know, at some point
we've been traveling a whole bunch. I haven't really talked to him a whole bunch.
There hasn't been a ton going on.
We need to get an Overwatch match going at some point. But because some people were asking if we had brought Justin in to replace Joe, and that's we were bringing in Justin just as an extra player, because he was friends with Steph and Jordan, and they figured
like, hey,
he's good
cool
for videos,
dude.
and
let's bring him in here.
He likes video games. And more recently, it's just there has been an absence of Joe, and Justin's been stepping in a little bit. But that isn't, you know, it's not because like he's here to replace Joe or anything. Joe will still be in videos on occasion. It's just he hasn't really been in a whole lot recently, because
he's busy with his.
And we're trying to figure out this stuff.
We're trying to so we'll get into a lot more of what's going on this end. But that's basically what happened was we were kind of just doing our regular thing, just kind of producing content, really enjoying a lot of this stuff. I think there was some stuff that we were just kind of, you know, there's still a factor of needing to pay some bills and stuff. So there's always an element of like trying to just get videos done, and it does suffer for that when we're trying to just crank out a video a day kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's always been. The hub has been such a weird flow of content throughout its life. So it's like sometimes we've been more gameplay, sometimes we've been more. We were never gameplay at the start, really.
Yeah,
it was more so just our
random, because
we all did gameplay on our channels, and so we would come up with shorts and stuff, and that would be mainly what the stuff was, vlogs, all that stuff, and then eventually gameplay kind of became the main thing. And gameplay has never really full on been my thing. You know, it's just I like doing it and I enjoy it and all that jazz, but it's I enjoy the content we're making. I wouldn't say any of it's been bad in my opinion recently or anything. But I can understand why people aren't necessarily into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, some people enjoy it, some people don't. I personally enjoy the stuff where we do, like the goobies and stuff. And,
yeah, crazy stuff.
I still have fun doing a lot of the gameplay stuff, but I'll admit it doesn't always turn out to be the best content, even though we can have fun with it.
We were a channel that was a group channel that came together, that personalities were the draw, and now it's more so, we're still around, but it's not what people signed up for initially. When it comes to watching the content, we've definitely grown and evolved. And
it's definitely a lot different.
Far different now.
But yes, so we were kind of in that same little groove, and everyone was enjoying it. And then what happened was we started some serious travel. There was a few instances where I had to run out of town, and at this point, we're operating at a lower count in general for how many people we have. So as soon as like one person leaves, it kind of cripples.
And also
a lot
how many
of
days
operations.
we're working.
Yeah, it kind of screws up a lot of that. Which
we
tried to plan around here and there, but
because we had done a week and a half travel to the UK, where simultaneously the day before you left, you got notice that you were going to be working on the Friday the 13th trailer.
Yeah. So one of the things I've picked up is I've been doing some work on the Friday the 13th stuff, which has been an absolute blast, and something that I'm really, really enjoying is actually, and if many people don't know me, I actually kind of got into the whole YouTube thing based around machinimas. Mm-hmm. Both me and Dan did. And I specifically was trying to become a cinematic designer at a game studio.
Didn't you have an interview with BioWare?
Yes, I talked to a few guys at BioWare initially before any of the YouTube stuff really started to pick up.
It's before Mass Effect 3 came out.
Yes, it was. I think it was
around when they were developing
it. It was about a year after Mass Effect 2, I believe.
Because you probably, if you had gotten hired, you probably would have worked on Mass Effect 3.
Yes. Because I think that's what they're working on. So anyway, that was like something I've always wanted to do. So I got the opportunity to work on that. I've been working on a few side projects involving not just Friday the 13th, but some other games in the past that were a lot of fun too. So getting the chance to do that kind of thing is really fun. So that I did take on stuff like that, and was really happy to be doing so. So in addition to the travel, right when we had left for some of these events, the Adpocalypse hit, and it was like, Adpocalypse. I've seen a lot of stuff hit YouTube before. We've been around for so long. It's kind of hard to really
Pippa
gauge
and all those different like bills and stuff.
Yeah, the bill that was passed.
Net neutrality is still going through ups and downs right now.
Yeah, a whole bunch of random crap like that, and it never really came to fruition. And after about a week of seeing the effects of the Adpocalypse, I was like, this isn't good. And
yeah, it was right when we were on vacation where I was like, oh man, this is not a great month right now.
And we were kind of seeing stuff, and it's just like we actually we personally got lucky. We were kind of at an operating point where we were just kind of like, kind of cruising. We weren't doing insanely well, but we weren't,
we weren't
hurting at all. But the Adpocalypse, hit us pretty good. It didn't hit anywhere near as much as it hit other people, because we actually just kind of felt a residual fallback from it. Our videos weren't directly getting flagged and demonetized and stuff. We were just seeing a residual fallback from so many of the ad providers backing out.
And I always say this, because our videos aren't child friendly or whatever. People always throw around that we're a family friendly channel. We're not. That's never been our goal or anything.
No.
We're not looking to insult people or tear people down or be assholes or be crass, or horribly crass at least. And so our videos, I think, have definitely been, they haven't been completely demonetized. There's still some monetization, but we don't get the flag ones where it's like, this one can't be monetized because of the content.
There's some channels out there.
Luckily, like it's not quite like that.
H3 obviously feeling the brunt the most, where they cannot make any money off of YouTube anymore, because it just is, they're cut off, because they'll probably have someone at YouTube sitting there watching their channel waiting for a video upload, and it's like, nope, too controversial. We can't risk having another fallout against all of our ad providers. So YouTube's taking very, very aggressive measures to make sure that this doesn't happen to them a second time, because even though it happened with a lot of the big ad providers initially, it could still kind of turn around and people could look into it and then see it happening still and then back out again, which would be like a double fall off. So it seems like they've kind of gotten a team together that is specifically looking for these bigger channels, because the most views come from these bigger channels, the most ad revenue. So they can't risk these bigger videos being seen as, the non-ad friendly content. So they're constantly just flagging those. So we kind of slipped under the radar there, which, didn't, yeah, what am I trying to say? It's not like it's, the best thing in the world.
But at the same time, we're still seeing a major effect.
Yeah, it still hit us, but not as bad as if it just went down to zero. So, we can be at least a little bit grateful in that respect. So yeah, that hit us. I was working on the cinematic stuff, our personal channel stuff.
Yeah. And then like after we had gotten back from the UK, I was here for a week and then I was gone again. Yep. So like the reason why we're so low on content right now, or content's kind of sporadically coming out, is because we're kind of working with the slate we currently have, but at the same time trying to operate within the budget we have currently due to the Adpocalypse. Like it's a lot tougher. It's hardly, I said this before to you, like it's hardly feasible, like doing this and paying a bunch of employees
unless you're doing really well.
The reason why it worked so well before was we were all people who were doing well enough on our own that we could kind of do our own, like the hub was like a side project where we came together and it became a thing where we kind of collaborated on an every once in a while basis, and we kind of were more so focusing on our own thing, and it could operate that way. But once you kind of, not to mention we're not making the money we were in 2012, obviously. With the Adpocalypse spike down, it's hard to pay people and operate at any sort of full capacity. It's just not doable to support, at this point, mainly 4 people. So it's just...
Yeah, and a big part of it, we've been focusing a lot on our personal channels and streaming. And, I've always told people, this was just something I wanted to bring up because Max had chatted recently about all the creature stuff that had went down a little bit with Hutch. And
yes, I watched that.
Basically, I agree. It's kind of something where I don't know if I've really told a lot of people this, but, everyone's like, you could have been like the size of Rooster Teeth, or we could have been big, and we really could have. It kind of went down to the fact that, one, we were all super young, we're super inexperienced.
I think this is the thing you probably bring up the most. Well, not bring up the most, but you've brought it up multiple times.
Yeah, because I've always looked
Jordan
back.
will just be sitting at his table and he'll be like, shoot, if we had just really buckled down in 2012 and we all had just kind of we had lit a fire under our asses.
It was crazy because it
could have been.
We didn't understand what
but
we had.
That's regrets and whatever.
Yeah, that's just way back. And that's a lot of people, when people do ask that, it's just like that, we didn't know what we were doing. We were all focused. There still was a large amount of focus on our individual channels because it wasn't something where we got together, we dropped everything else and we collaborated on this thing. And I feel like that would have obviously helped out, but it wasn't realistic. Everyone had their own thing, and it would be stupid to just drop everything and just step into something that wasn't fully formed. Yeah. In retrospect, we probably would have been all fine, and it probably would have done a lot better than, we ever could have imagined, but it didn't. That's all. Yeah. It woulda, coulda,
you could just dwell on that all day.
Yeah, long. And I definitely don't want to. But for those of you who have ever asked that kind of thing, that's just kind of so that's why we've kind of been trying to jump back into our personal stuff, because there's a little bit more. It's a lot more like I enjoy it so much more.
Well, it's
in a lot of ways.
It's a breath of fresh air because you're doing your own thing. You're not like you're cultivating your own audience and all that jazz. And not that I love all you guys, good or bad. Whether you like us or hate us or whatever now, if you at any time watched us or supported us, or I very much appreciate that you even enjoyed anything that I had a hand in, so thank you so much for your support and your viewership over the years. But it's definitely the personal channel stuff it's different. I'm not afraid to do anything on my channel. Not that I'm afraid to do stuff on the hub, but I've been kind of beaten into a little bit of a position where it's just like, I'm not sure about stuff that goes up on the hub sometimes.
It's always been kind of a hard thing to juggle, and it's still fun making content for it and stuff. And we'll kind of discuss in a second here kind of what we are looking at going forward. But as of now, there's so much uncertainty around this because there's talks that the ads are going to pick back up, and I've always been I've learned as much as I can over the past few years about the way ads work, and how they're distributed, how they kind of ebb and flow, and adjust to the different consumers, and like how it's super low in the beginning of the year but then super high at the end of the year, how that kind of stuff works. So I don't know, and I really don't understand how this is all going to turn out. I know a lot of people are, jumping on, a lot of people like us are going to Twitch, trying to figure ways around it. Some people have, established some good things around merchandise and stuff. And, we honestly never got around to, that's another big fault of ours. We never got around to redesigning. And
an element of, it was a point of frustration for us as well. We were trying to kind of rebrand.
We couldn't find anything that really clicked with the rebrand. And, it's been a battle for us, and that it really sucked, because we were like, we need to, we can't just be relying off YouTube, because we knew it's, YouTube's never reliable with the ad revenue and stuff. So we were trying to look at other ways, and just, it's been, with the less times that we were together per week, it just kind of became a backseat thing to rebrand. And, that's definitely a big fault of ours, because we could have been in a little better of a situation now, I feel. But, you never know. It's all retrospect, and what's that phrase? Hindsight is 2020.
I kind of said that earlier.
It's the story of our lives, I guess.
The story of anybody's lives.
Yeah. Anyone that goes through this kind of thing.
Hey,
but
who's had our life experiences though?
Yeah, no, there's been some. It's been a lot of fun. Love what we do, and we couldn't thank you guys more for that. And it's all been a thing that's been chalked up to our poor communication, our failed promises. We always kind of go above, and since the beginning of time, we've always been like way out of the way, like, oh, we're gonna do this, it's gonna be so cool. And just, because it's, it's probably mostly because it's not a focus. That's a big thing, was, since it's never been a real predominant focus, it kind of takes a back seat in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Even when even you and I both at times have either taken time off our personal channels and gone like full on hub, whether out of necessity or out of passion, and trying to make it a thing. But like, I've always found it's so difficult with so many voices chiming into one thing. I don't know. I just feel like maybe there wasn't an element of synergy sometimes, but like just kind of figuring out the right stuff to do and all that jazz when it came to content.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, oh, excuse me. But yeah, we do apologize that we've been, probably some of the worst communicators in the world over the years as far as YouTube channels go.
Yeah. And typically whenever it came down to explaining or saying we couldn't do something we promised, we would promise something else, and then sometimes that wouldn't go through, and that was like just a really bad way of doing anything. Like, because with the Office stuff, it was just so much of a grind that we were doing two videos a day and really trying to get them out and have fun while doing it and not going insane and all that stuff. So when it came down to the grind of getting videos out so we could pay rent and all that jazz, it just kind of, unfortunately, other stuff fell by the wayside when it came to planning, which really sucked.
Yeah, it's never fun to admit that you fail a promise, but I feel bad that we've done it so much. So, I don't know if we can sit here and ever promise you guys anything. And I understand completely if you'll never believe us on anything like that. But I think a big part now is, figuring out what we're doing moving forward. And we can't specifically know what we are doing now because it's still up in the air. We're still trying to figure out a few things that could, keep us afloat in different ways. Along the lines of different revenue streams and all that great stuff, which is just, the main thing is we want to have fun. We want to go back to having fun. I think it's been really fun being able to go back to personal channels and not have to, you just jump on it and you see, I see Spoon online or something, or I see Dan online or something. It's like, hey, you want to play some games? And it just kind of goes back to those roots that really made it a lot more enjoyable and, less of a grind in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's happened a couple times recently. We either like I've been streaming and you'll pop into my chat, or Spoon will be streaming, I'll pop into his chat or whatever.
Yep. So yeah, like with a lot of uncertainty, it's it kind of paves the way. One thing that we're thinking about that we feel would be a good thing to do is if we can focus on our regular stuff, then we can save the hub for what it was originally intended for, and that is the collaborative passion projects that we love working on. Forever ago we had the Trapville stuff that I know.
I still get questions all the time about, particularly on stream and stuff.
It's sad that it wasn't able to go through. There's just, if you didn't know, it's just a bunch of, Gearbox related stuff that just didn't work out.
We had 3 seasons ready for you. We had 3.
Yeah. So I
had a lot of ideas.
It's really sad, but that's just the way some of this stuff goes.
But we were thinking about that, and we always go back to it. We always talk about it. We put a lot of work into Trapville. I had written 7 scripts for 7 episodes. You had already animated like 4 episodes.
I animated 5 or 4.5 of the 6 episodes that were, or 7.
This was like 2013 when we were working on this stuff, 2013, 2014. And so like we spent a lot of time working on all of that stuff, and then it just never went anywhere because we couldn't put it out because of all the different licensing issues and stuff with Borderlands and
stuff.
Just a bunch of stuff like that. We wouldn't have been able to make any money off of it. So what was the point of doing it? Because we were spending so much time on it. I've had so many ideas since then, but we haven't been able to take the time to really work on stuff like that. So maybe working on an animated series or something, and maybe shorts, more focus on shorts and getting stuff, like that up. Like, because, our tastes and interests come from filmmaking and machinima stuff, working in game engines. And, I love doing GTA. You're very sharp in Unreal 4. The more you've been working with the Friday the 13th stuff. And I think it would maybe the content would speak better to the audience than it is now, with it being something that's straight up coming from just our passion,
creative passion. Yeah. Because that's where it definitely lies in the start of this all kind of fueled. So, I mean, there's just so much uncertainty now, and the stupid Adpocalypse just kind of, we were doing fine before, but sometimes stuff like this happens, and maybe it opens up just a completely new, amazing part of, whatever, just because, we're able to work on some really cool stuff.
It takes us, luckily it's kind of, on the silver lining aspect of it, it's taking us out of the fight or flight kind of aspect of YouTube that we've been dealing with, where it's just like trying to make the bills pretty much with the office stuff and coming out of and in the house. And not that we were struggling in the house, but like now we can actually not have to grind and maybe spend some time on some stuff that people think is cool.
Yeah.
And still not completely getting rid of vlogs or gameplay every once in a while. The brand deals that we've done recently have certainly helped out, and it's also been pretty fun doing them, and just regular gameplay.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth has been doing really great about bringing us brand deals that we really enjoy, and they have a great sales team over there, and it's really helped us out, and it's going to be able to kind of give us that buffer to at least figure out what we're doing next instead of just immediately backing out and shutting down completely. So we're able to just kind of like breathe and be like, okay, what's happening? But right now it's definitely, you guys are going to see it in a way that there's going to be less content going up. Sorry, I didn't mean to touch you, Dan.
Ew.
But yeah, so that's, we just wanted to sit down, chat. I'm sorry it's such a long-winded video, but we felt like there would be nothing better than to just sit down and lay everything out so you guys knew everything that was going on. I mean, we're still having a blast with it. We don't want to, feel like we're demotivated in any of this, because this is still very much our passion. It's just, YouTube Adpocalypse is giving us a little dose of, you got to figure something out, figure some grind out or something like that. So
there's nothing more that we want than to, make you guys happy and make us happy and just have fun doing what we're doing, and it just be this kind of big, fun, mutual thing that hopefully you guys are along for the ride with.
Yep.
Let's see where this goes and see how it goes. See how it goes.
So, I mean, we'll continue to do as much content as we possibly can until we figure out more around this. But for now, we're going to be very active on our personal stuff. So just go check that stuff out. I mean, Dan and I both have our channels. We both have our Twitches. We stream quite a bit. I haven't gotten a solid schedule down yet, but going to be picking up a little bit more.
Oh yeah, and I stream
Dan
every
has a super solid schedule
Tuesday,
in right
Friday,
now.
Sunday, every Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, and twice on Tuesdays and Fridays. And this coming Saturday, there is a 10-hour stream that's going to be happening.
Goodness.
I'm not going to be doing a Friday or Sunday stream. Every once in a while, last month I did a 10-hour stream that got extended to a 15-hour stream.
Oh, good night.
And I'm doing one every month. So the 10-hour stream is happening. No Friday or Sunday stream, just 10-hour stream this Saturday. It'll be pretty good. Anyway, all of our links will be in the description.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know about our personal stuff, then you can
and
go
my
check
hair's
that
green.
out.
Also because
my hair's blue.
That 10-hour stream, I don't know how it's showing up there, but
December Daily Dozen. But yeah, I think we're covered.
Twitch streamers now. Jordan.
Yeah, no, we're totally Twitch streamers now with the hair. So I think we covered everything, and I do apologize if we missed anything. We will be in the comments, so if we did miss a particularly big topic that we probably should have addressed, please put it in there, and we'll answer back as fast as we possibly can. And hopefully everyone gets everything they need from this video. I think we covered everything, didn't we? Overall, it's just life. It's just the way life goes sometimes, and we're gonna keep on trucking.
Where'd Babu go? Where'd Carl go?
I don't know.
Where'd Carl go, Jordan?
They sailed. They went on an extravagant voyage
Babu,
and never
Jala,
heard from again.
And Molly and Carl all just set sail.
They set sail on a big yacht. It was named the SS Meow, and
is that yacht you built in the Lenovo video?
Forgot about that. Where did that even go? Did we donate that, or did we?
I think you said
away?
You wanted to donate it because I was
I
don't want to donate it because it's so cool, but
even
it's
though
so
I
huge.
I drew the cat on the sails and put SS Meow on it.
You still Goodwilled it?
Yes, I did.
They can dye that out or something, bleach it out.
Yeah,
anyway.
Probably. But yeah, so thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts to everyone who has supported us and watched our content. And then,
it has not gone unappreciated.
It has not. We really do appreciate it, and we hope you continue to enjoy our stuff, no matter what kind of turn our next steps take. And
come along with us on a journey, everyone.
Come and see. And come with me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination.
Inebriation.
It's Family Guy.
All right, we're done.
Okay.